Hey everybody, this is a 1972 Wheelhorse Ranger 800. This actually was my first Trader I've ever had. My dad bought it for me when I was 8 years old. Probably back in 2010 maybe, if I remember correctly. It's a really small Trader, if you can see, compared to the 318. This is quite a tiny, small Trader. It's got a 36 or 34 inch mower deck, I believe. I think it's 36. It has a 8 horsepower Tecumseh motor. It's not currently running because, you know, Tecumseh. This Trader, to be honest, this Trader's been through hell and back. Being an 8-year-old, I use this thing all the time. Actually, I would cut grass all the time with it, and believe it or not, when my dad bought it, he and my aunt actually lifted this thing, just the two of them lifted it up and put it in the back of a GMC Envoy SUV, and yeah, it's not that heavy, but it's heavy enough that when you have to move it by hand that you know that you're pushing something. So if that gives you any indication, I think it weighs around 500 pounds. So it's definitely not light by any means, but the fenders on it are actually fiberglass. Actually, this is fiberglass all the way back through here, and the hood is fiberglass. This is metal. This thing has been, when I say it's been through hell and back, the reason I say that is because a couple years after I had gotten it, I was using it to tow behind a small lawn sweeper. And you know, being a stupid 8-year-old, you don't realize that this thing has no safety switches. And when I was towing with the lawn sweeper, I had it in third gear. In third gear, at full throttle, it gets up and goes pretty good. And I turned it off, and it was left in third gear so it wouldn't roll anywhere, because the parking brake never worked on this. But started to back up, not fully on the Trader, just kind of sitting on the seat, but wasn't on it fully. And I didn't expect it to start as quickly as it did, and I forgot it was in third gear, and well, basically it took off, and it flung me off of it. And I tried to grab the back end of it to stop it, and in the process of me doing that, slammed right into my dad's Dodge dad's Dodge Ram. Hood smashed the back part of the bed, and surprisingly, being the hood's only fiberglass, the hood survived, the truck did not. And so I don't know if that's a sign of how bad Dodge's quality is or what, but I'm probably gonna make some Dodge people mad saying that. But the starter's been replaced on it probably about 10 years ago. Starter was replaced. It's had a new carburetor put on it, and it's been rebuilt 3 times because, you know, again, Tecumseh. The air filters are brand new. I just replaced that air filter housing. They're actually still available, surprisingly. The gas tank has been JB welded in a couple of spots on the top, as you can see over here, and it's not easy to take this battery in and out either. You got the wiring on the one side and the fuel line on the other, so you got to kind of push stuff around and get it to come out over all that. So this is your mower deck on and off. It actually just, you know, how you can see it, it actually just moves the whole mower deck back and forth with all these linkages. Now, and then pulls the belt tight underneath. There actually is no deck pulley on it right now. The deck pulley and drive pulley are separate, and the deck pulley had shattered because it's this cast iron, and it had fallen off my workbench the one day and shattered, so I haven't gotten around to replacing that with this steel pulley yet. I restored this Trader after I stopped using it for many years because I just outgrew it, and I decided to probably 6 or 7 years ago, I decided to take it apart, restore it, and clean it up a little bit, because it wasn't in terrible shape, but the paint was starting to peel in some spots. I think it was repainted once before I got it, and the decals need replaced. This back decal here was missing it just said wheel, it had no horse on it. The seat was falling apart, and this is my poor job of upholstery. It's not terrible, but I think I'm gonna have a shop redo it and make it look really nice. It was missing the back seat rest altogether. It's actually adjustable. You loosen this knob and this slides up and down to adjust it for different parts of your back. It's actually pretty nice. Actually, I just put a new key switch on it and bought a actual Wheelhorse key with the Wheelhorse emblem on it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I repainted this a couple years ago, put new decals on it. The decals were made by a shop locally. They're not 100% accurate to what Wheelhorse originally had on there, but it's close enough that people don't really recognize it. It's just me that I'm picky about it. I would fire it up and run it, but like I said, carb issues, Tecumseh, enough said. As you can see, the only damage when I hit that truck with this thing is this little bit of damage right here, where it comes down and goes around the steering wheel shaft. It jumped and pushed it into that, and other than that, I mean, the rest of this hood survived really well. This had an option for headlights, but it didn't come with it when I got it, so it had this headlight delete lens in there, so I bought a new one of those and put it in there. As you can see, it could have had headlights, but it didn't come with it. This is actually a pretty rare Trader. It was only made in 1972 and 73, 1 year only, and I've only seen one other one locally here. I don't see many pictures of them online. I've seen similar Traders, but they're not the Ranger 800 like this one is. Other than that, it's pretty cool. It's actually got that's all the fuses for the charging system, which I actually don't even know if that works or not anymore. It's pretty tired, this engine. It runs, but it has constant carburetor issues, and it smokes a little bit, and for some reason this thing vibrates like crazy. I don't understand how or why it vibrates like it does, but you get on the seat and you try and ride it around and your head's going to be spinning by the time you get off of it. But the most recent issues I've had with this is for some reason the starter bolt, the one starter bolt that holds it on there, I know well you'll be able to see it back in there between the wires there, it snapped off. So this starter is being held in with 2 bolts, and it jumps around, so I don't want to turn it over or anything while it's like that, because the teeth might strip out on either the starter or the flywheel gear might strip out. So, and let me tell you, trying to find parts to this engine is not easy. I actually was tempted to put a Briggs or something in there where I could actually get parts for it, but I wanted to keep it original, so I left it alone. But only other thing I've really done to this Trader in the time decade or so that I've had it is the front tires. I replaced them. They're still the original wheels, but I replaced the tires. Don't know how well you'll be able to see it on the camera, but the front end kind of toes out a little bit. The bushings are worn out, but being 1972, there is not many parts available for these anymore. This is the model number, and I'll be able to see it in there if anybody's interested in that. Pause the video and look at that. Other than that, guys, that's about it. It's a pretty cool Trader. I don't think it's ever going to leave my collection of stuff. I just lost sentimental value behind it. You know, my dad bought it for me, and someday I hope to hand it down to my kids. But they're gonna have to earn that one, let me tell you that much. The only other damage on this was recently this year is this crack right in here. I had put this on my trailer to take it to my show, and I have a General Electric Trader, and I ran that in the back of this on accident, and I pushed all that inside the epoxy it back together. So now I gotta kind of do some paint touch up and Bondo and see if I can get that to clean up a little bit. But so yeah, I believe it has a Peerless rear end. I mean, you can see there's some overspray and stuff on it. I thought this was done like I said, 8 years ago, before I knew a lot about restoring stuff, so this isn't perfect by any means, but I don't think anybody's restorations are absolutely perfect, so I'm not really worried about it. It's just cool to own. And other than that, guys, that's about it. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see you in the next one, I guess. Later.